Henryk Pachulski, educated first in Warsaw and later on in Moscow, where he so impressed composer Peter Tchaikovsky, who was instrumental in securing him a professorship in piano. His etudes became so popular that virtuoso composers and famous teachers used them in their own practice and in their teachings. People like Rachmaninoff and Scriabin and Neuhaus, for instance.
Good morning, my name is Marek Szlezer, and I would like to speak few words about Etudes by Henryk Pachulski, a Polish composer that lived for a long time in Russia, in Moscow. However, he was Polish and was educated in Warsaw. He finished composition with Stanisław Moniuszko, a great Polish composer, and also piano with Rudolf Strobl in Warsaw, and afterwards he continued his studies in Moscow with Nikolai Rubinstein. This is important because Etudes by Pachulski has entered in the Russian scholar system quite fast, and also in Polish one, because they were regarded as a very, very useful studies, which were also having a great artistic importance. So what is quite interesting and quite original for Pachulski is that he is trying to make the studies attractive. So by this, he is trying to implement harmonics, which are very nice, and he's trying also to use repetitive patterns, because he was thinking that for his students to learn etudes well, it would be much easier to have less variants in the works. What also is quite particular for Pachulski, that being Chopin an example, he's trying to focus on one particular technical difficulty, which he is trying to work on through all the study. So we have those studies in the library of Pawłem edition, and I think they are a great collection of works which could be played and enjoyed by many pianists all around the world, also in Korea.
Grażyna Bacewicz, famous Polish violin virtuoso, who was also a great pianist, and she premiered most of her piano works herself. She wrote sonatas, smaller works, Krakowiaks, and also a set of 10 very demanding concert etudes. And I know from personal experience that not only are they quite tricky, but extremely satisfying, both technically and musically. And I hope that these etudes will become much more popular with young pianists. This is the beginning of the 10 concert etudes by Bacewicz, and this is how number 1 starts.
10 Etudes by Grażyna Bacewicz, a most important Polish composer of the 1950s, were inspired by the works of Frédéric Chopin. They are actually part of Polish composers' efforts, which were commissioned and which were written because of the anniversary of Chopin in 1949, which has caused composers' competitions and also the renewal of Chopin piano competition. So the 10 studies by Bacewicz are showing her individual compositional style, which is based on neoclassical background, which is very strong in these works. The rhythmical patterns are very original and are quite complex. Also, a very technical part in terms of piano performance can be challenged, especially in some of the studies. Taking Chopin as an example, she is trying to work on a very particular technical difficulty, which is showing all over in the study. Among studies which are in fast tempo and are quite virtuosistic, we have also etudes which are lyrical, which I personally find as the most important part of this collection. And they are also inspired by Polish folk music. We can find melodic elements and also rhythmic elements of Polish national songs and dances. These etudes, which are popular in Poland, they are played quite often in the secondary school of music or in the high school. I think they can be a very attractive position also in repertory of young Korean pianists, because they are very close to style of Prokofiev or to style of Shostakovich, which is very popular right now. So I believe the music of Grażyna Bacewicz can be discovered now in the other parts of the world outside of Europe.
For this competition, we have 10 different works by 8 Polish composers from various times in history, several different styles, and several different levels of difficulty. I hope very much you will enjoy making your selection and playing them.